Hey everybody, thanks for checking in. This is Melanie Travins of The Hedonist Cook, and you're about to watch a video for some potato soup that I made last night. And I just needed to give a bit of an intro because what you're about to see is what happens when you screw up a recipe and you try and fix it. The soup came out great. I had it for dinner tonight. It's delicious. So what's going to happen is on the video you're going to see what happens when you make the mistake. On the recipe that I'm going to be posting on my website, I'll put the correct recipe because it basically came out the same. I just added an extra hour to the work when I messed it up. So hopefully you get a little bit of understanding of how to make the soup and also how not to make mistakes like I did. In addition, this is my first ever video post, so please be patient with me while I figure out editing and fading and all that stuff. They'll be getting better and better each time. Again, thanks for checking it out. Okay, tonight we are making baked potato soup. It's going to be really good, and the first thing we need to do is get the potatoes ready. So, here we go. Potatoes. If you had already baked potatoes that were full, that's fine. I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut them into smaller pieces because I want to speed up the time that it takes to cook them. You could, of course, also use a microwave, but I don't have one, so let's chop these up. Okay, so I just cut up all the potatoes for the soup. Then it just occurred to me that we're making baked potato soup, and if I cook the potatoes cut like they are, it's really going to be, every little like tiny piece is going to be hard, and it's not going to give that softness that I want. So basically just kind of screwed myself. So in order to fix this, we're probably going to take the baked part away from the potato soup, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to boil it. I'll probably boil it until it's pretty soft, maybe throw it in the oven for a little bit, but like 10 or 15 minutes, but basically we're changing it. No more baked potato soup, now just potato soup. So if you've made the mistake that I have and you've cut up 4 giant potatoes and you weren't supposed to, then we're making new kind of soup. Okay, so we're back. The potatoes are done, the bacon has been done. I kind of prepped all of my stuff to get it ready, in part for the video, but I get all my ingredients prepped anyways because my house is so small. I live in an apartment and I just do not have space to have all these different things all over the counter. So the other great thing about that is when you're adding a bunch of ingredients together, like in this, you have flour, salt, basil, pepper. If you do it all together, you're not going to forget one if you get stressed out. So put it all together, get it ready. Basically at this point we are ready to start sauteing the onions, and we're going to put... So we just get the bacon in this guy. We just drained. There's our stuff there. We've got all of our ingredients prepped here. So now we're going to put in... God, this is hard by yourself. We're going to put in the onions. We're going to put in the garlic. Now, if I was doing this for myself or for someone else I know, I would put in a lot more than the clove or 2 cloves. But I'm making it for my mom, and she doesn't like super spicy stuff. So, or it's basically because she's sick. So I'm not really going to try to overload her on garlic. So right in here we've got garlic, onions, and bacon fat. They're basically like the 3 best things that got invented besides butter. So I'd throw some in there too if I could get away with it. So we've got this on medium. Okay, so we've got nice browned stuff. It's going to be kind of hard to tell. It's browned. If we were using a pan that was better quality, like my old good stuff, then it wouldn't be like that on the bottom, but it's fine. It's just going to add more flavor. It's not actually burnt. So at this stage in the game, we are at the point where we are going to stir in the flour, salt, basil, and pepper, which is right here. It's going to be weird when we mix it in. It's going to be really lumpy, and you're going to feel like quite possibly you weren't supposed to do that, because it just seems like a weird thing to do when you add seasonings and dry ingredients to this. I don't know if you can see that, but it just kind of looks like a mess. So we're going to stir this in. You know, a lot of my favorite recipes call for mixing in your seasonings with your onions and garlic. I don't know why, but it's been my experience that some of the best recipes have it that way, so I'm not really going to mess with it. I'm not sure if it gives the flavors a chance to develop a little bit because of the heat or what, but it's neither here nor there, I guess. This flour is a thickening agent. That's what's going to give the soup its thickness. It's also better when you make soup to serve it the next day if possible, because it gives it a chance to really meld those flavors, and that's why we all love soup so much, because of those flavors. So now we've got kind of a just mixed up looking thing. It's pretty good. So next, we're going to add the broth and bring it to a boil. So let's bust this out. Okay, so this has been boiling for a couple minutes. I don't know if you can see through the steam, and I really don't know how to prevent that from happening, but it's at a pretty good boil. I've been stirring it, making sure that the bottom isn't sticking. It's already thickened up slightly because of that flour. Think of gravy, if you've made gravy before. My lens is getting all jacked up. And how when you apply heat and liquid to the flour, it thickens up and makes gravy. So it's a pretty basic concept. Flour, cornstarch, all of those things are thickening agents. We just used flour for this reason. But I'm really trying to give it more than 2 minutes, actually, of stirring it at a boil. So the next thing we're going to do is add the potatoes. Hopefully not totally burn myself, because doing this with one hand is difficult. Here come the potatoes. It's going to take it away from a boil. Next we're going to add the cream, the magical delicious cream. There's 1 cup. And second cup is coming up. This would be a lot smoother if someone else was helping me, but it's really hard to do a recipe for the first time and try and record it. But I care, and I want you guys to know how to make this soup, so we're doing it together. So now we have the look of the potato soup I think that we're all used to eating. It's very creamy. So yeah, it's supposed to be heated through but not boiling. This soup is pretty wet at this point. You can probably hear that. I want it thicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at a simmer for a while. And a simmer is just where you barely see the bubbles coming up. It's not going to burn, but what it's going to do is it's going to start evaporating, and I'm going to get it thick. And by tomorrow, it'll be really nice and thick. And that's one of the bummers about trying to do soup the day of. Soup is best done the day before, and then it has time to, like I said earlier, thicken. So it's one thing that you don't have to feel guilty about for planning ahead when you're making like a dinner party. It's actually what you should do. So that's it. We're going to let this simmer. I'm going to have some friends over in a little bit, and they're going to taste test it with me. Since I've never had this soup, I have no idea what it's going to taste like, but hopefully it's going to be good, and hopefully by the time they get there, it'll be a little bit thicker. This is actually my first video blog, and I totally screwed up the recipe, but I feel like we managed to make it work. We are going to get the opinions of other people who are my friends, but also pretty honest about how it tastes, and if there's something that needs to be adjusted, I will make sure to put that in the recipe. So thanks for hanging out with me and working on this. It's been a really fun night. Okay, bye.